All right, so today we're diving headfirst into Seoul, South Korea.
Sounds exciting.
We've got a pretty diverse stack of sources here, official websites, historical records. We even managed to dig up a Wikipedia entry in Arabic.
Wow, a Wikipedia entry in Arabic. That's pretty interesting. It'll be fascinating to see how a city like Seoul is viewed from so many different perspectives.
Right. And that's kind of what we're trying to do today, really get to the heart of what makes Seoul, well, Seoul, everything from its ancient roots all the way to its, I don't know, kind of crazy modern energy.
I think you'll be surprised by what we find.
Yeah, I'm ready to be surprised.
Well, to start, did you know that the name Seoul actually just means capital in Korean?
Huh. Right.
And here's another one. It doesn't even have a direct Chinese character counterpart.
No Chinese character, huh? That's a pretty good fun fact. Makes you wonder why, though.
I think it really speaks to how Seoul has always been seen. It's the central hub, the capital. Like, no matter what they were calling it at any point in history, it was always the capital.
That makes sense. But speaking of history, we found that Seoul wasn't always actually the capital. Way back in 18 BC, it was known as Wairisong, and it was the main city of the Baekje Kingdom.
Wow, 18 BC. That's going way back.
Yeah. I mean, talk about a city with a lot of history behind it.
It really highlights Seoul's strategic importance, too, even all the way back then. Situated right on the Han River, a total key point of control. And that theme kind of pops up again and again throughout its history.
And don't even get me started on all the name changes.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
Okay, so you've got Hanju, Namjeong, Hanyang.
Whoa.
Talk about an identity crisis. It's like Seoul's name was changing right alongside Korea's, well, pretty dramatic history.
Can you imagine living in a city like that, where every street corner, every wall is whispering stories about dynasties and all this change?
That'd be pretty wild.
Yeah. Talk about a connection to the past.
And speaking of change, Seoul today is bursting with life. It has almost 10 million people in the city itself.
Wow.
But in the greater metro area.
Yeah. Hold on to your hats. 26 million.
You're kidding.
That's like half of South Korea squeezed into one urban space.
Wow. To put that in perspective, imagine the entire population of Australia in one city.
That's a good one.
All that energy, the diversity, just the sheer, scale of keeping a place like that running. Mind-blowing.
Totally. And it's not even just about the numbers. Seoul is a serious global player. We were looking at some stuff from the Seoul Metropolitan Government, and they've actually been named the best MICE city for 10 years straight.
Best MICE city? I don't think I've ever heard of that. What does that even mean?
So get this. MIC stands for Meetings, Incentives, Conferences, and Exhibitions.
Right.
It's a huge part of the global economy. And for Seoul to be recognized like that, it shows they're serious about business and innovation.
That's really impressive.
Yeah.
Seoul's really thinking big, huh?
And here's where things get really interesting.
Yeah.
Even the Arabic Wikipedia entry, which I thought was a pretty cool find.
Yeah. Lists all these sister cities: Tokyo, Moscow, Berlin, Paris, London. The list just keeps going.
It's more than just a symbolic thing. These partnerships really reflect Seoul's outlook. They want to connect and collaborate with these major cities around the world.
Totally. And let's not forget how visually stunning Seoul is. Have you seen the pictures on their official website?
Oh, yeah.
Seriously, it's like visual candy. Like, they have these amazing drone light shows over the Han River.
Wow.
Traditional markets that are just packed with food. And they even have a city color for 2025.
No, wait, what is it?
Green Aurora.
Green Aurora, huh?
Yeah. I think all this focus on aesthetics tells you something about Seoul,
What do you mean?
They want to be seen as vibrant, modern,
Yeah.
and artistic.
Yeah, it's like they're saying, look at us. We're this amazing city full of beauty and innovation, and we want everyone to know it.
Okay, so we've talked about the ancient history and the modern stuff and all the pretty visuals, but what about actually getting around in a city with 26 million people?
Oh, man. Yeah, that's got to be tough.
Well, that's where the Seoul Metropolitan Subway comes in. And let me tell you, this is not your average subway.
Really?
This thing is massive.
I bet.
It's one of the most extensive subway systems in the world. It has something like 300 stations, and it carries literally millions of passengers every single day.
Millions. Wow. That's
Yeah.
amazing. It's like the lifeblood of the city,
It is, and it's a symbol of how connected everything is, like how the whole city is pulsing with energy.
I like that.
Now, speaking of energy, we can't talk about Seoul without mentioning K-pop, right?
Oh, absolutely. K-pop's a global phenomenon, And all of her research pointed to Seoul being at the very heart of it.
It really is the epicenter, and it draws people from all over the world, people who want to experience it firsthand.
For sure. And it looks like Seoul is really embracing this role, right?
Oh, yeah, big time. They have all these dedicated K-pop tours, themed experiences, and even these crazy fan cam videos that'll make your head spin.
They're smart to leverage their cultural influence like that.
Totally. And it goes beyond just K-pop. The whole creative industry in Seoul is booming.
It really is. But even with all that modern stuff, Seoul hasn't forgotten its past either.
You're totally right. We found a bunch of sources that highlighted all these incredible palaces and temples all over the city. It's crazy. One minute you're walking through ancient history, and the next you're surrounded by skyscrapers.
That's the beauty of Seoul, wouldn't you say? It's this seamless blend of tradition and innovation.
It really is. And speaking of the future, we found an article that talks about Seoul's ambitions to be a leading smart city. They're implementing all sorts of innovative things like AI-powered traffic management and eco-friendly infrastructure.
It sounds like they're not just thinking about the future, they're actively trying to create it, using technology to make their city better and improve the lives of everyone who lives there. That's pretty cool.
It is cool. And it's not just talk, they're actually seeing results too. One of the reports from the Seoul Metropolitan Government showed that they've already seen a pretty significant decrease in traffic congestion and pollution since they started rolling out some of these initiatives.
That's impressive. They're not just using technology for technology's sake. They're actually using it to solve real problems. Problems that a lot of big cities around the world are facing.
Exactly.
So we've got this picture of Seoul as this bustling megacity, steeped in history, embracing technology.
Right.
But what about the people? What's it actually like to live there?
That's a good question. What is daily life like in a city with that much going on?
Well, something that really stood out to me was this concept of pali pali. It literally means quickly, quickly. And it totally captures the fast-paced energy of the city.
So it's like New York City, but even faster.
Maybe. Everyone's always on the move. Things happen quickly. There's just this real sense of urgency in the air.
I can feel it just thinking about it.
But it's not all work and efficiency. Seoul knows how to have fun, too.
Oh, yeah. Our team found some articles and blog posts about Seoul's nightlife, and it sounds pretty wild.
What kind of stuff did you find?
Everything. Trendy rooftop bars with incredible views, underground clubs that stay open until sunrise.
Nice.
Seoul has something for everyone. And then there's the food.
Oh, the food. Don't even get me started.
Ugh.
K-food is everywhere these days, and Seoul is like the ultimate food paradise.
Totally. We found articles about everything from Michelin-starred restaurants to there's amazing street food stalls.
And it's more than just the food itself, it's the whole experience.
Yeah.
Sharing food with friends or having this amazing tasting menu. It's all a huge part of what makes Seoul so special.
Absolutely.
So we've talked about history, technology, nightlife, food. But what about arts and culture?
Oh, there's so much of that in Seoul. We found articles about world-class museums, some really cool art installations, and a super active theater scene.
Nice. What about traditional Korean arts? Did you find anything on that?
Yeah, we did. One of the websites showcases traditional Korean calligraphy, their music, and dance.
Wow, that's beautiful.
It really is. It's amazing how they blend old and new, traditional and modern, and make it all work together.
It sounds like it's that unique mix that makes Seoul so vibrant and captivating.
So I've got this picture of Seoul, dynamic, technologically advanced, and full of culture. But what does it all mean? What challenges do they face?
Good question. One report we found talked about the issue of affordable housing. With so many people living in one place, it's got to be tough to find somewhere to live.
Yeah, I bet. And I would think that things like air pollution and traffic have to be a challenge, too.
Definitely. Those are problems a lot of big cities are dealing with.
You know, we've talked about how Seoul is embracing technology and all this innovation, but it seems like they've still managed to hold on to their traditions.
That's what I find so fascinating about it. You see this interplay between tradition and modernity everywhere. You've got young people in modern clothes bowing to their elders, ancient temples right next to skyscrapers, cutting-edge technology being used to preserve traditions that are centuries old. It's kind of a balancing act.
It really is, but it seems like they're finding a way to make it work.
It does, and it's amazing to see. It makes you think, what can other cities learn from how Seoul is doing things?
I agree. And it makes you wonder how Seoul's influence will continue to grow and change. What role will it play in the future of technology and innovation?
Good questions.
It really feels like Seoul is a city that's not just adapting to the future, but actually shaping it.
I think you're right. Seoul is definitely a city to watch.
Yeah.
It really is. It makes you think, what can other cities learn from how Seoul is doing things?
Totally. And how will their cultural influence evolve, right? What role will they play in like the future of technology and innovation? These are the big questions, you know?
Yeah, they are. It's a city that never stands still, always moving forward, always changing. I think that's what makes it so interesting.
It really does. We've covered so much ground today: ancient history, K-pop, smart city projects, the challenges of city life. It's a lot.
It is. What stood out to you? Anything that surprised you?
You know what really struck me? It's how Seoul embraces all these different sides of itself.
What do you mean?
Well, it's this global powerhouse, right?
Okay.
A tech hub, a melting pot of cultures, but it's also still deeply rooted in tradition.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
And they don't shy away from any of it. They just embrace it all, mix it all up, and somehow it creates this really unique city.
It's like they're saying, this is us, the good, the bad, and the kimchi.
Exactly. And that's what makes it so fascinating.
I totally agree.
So as Seoul keeps moving forward, what kind of role do you think they'll play in shaping the future? Not just for South Korea, but like globally.
That's a big question. Well, it's a city that constantly pushes boundaries, challenging the norms, taking risks. They're not afraid to experiment and try new things.
It seems like that innovative spirit and all their cultural influence and tech skills really puts them in a unique position.
Oh, absolutely. To lead the way, maybe, in tackling those big problems we all face.
Yeah. From everything we've seen today, it really feels like Seoul isn't just adapting to the future, they're shaping it.
And that's what makes Seoul a city worth watching. What lessons can other cities learn from them? How will Seoul's cultural influence continue to evolve? And what kind of role will they play in the future of tech and innovation? These are the questions I'll be thinking about. What about you?
I think what I'll take away from this is just, I don't know, a sense of awe at how Seoul balances all these like contradictions, you know? Ancient and modern, tradition and innovation, global and local.
Yeah.
They've somehow made a city that's deeply rooted in its history, but also totally looking towards the future. And that's pretty inspiring, I'd say.
Absolutely. Seoul proves that a city can be all of those things at once. And maybe, just maybe, that's the key to creating a truly great city.
Yeah.
It really is. A city that can be all those things at once, right?
Yeah.
And maybe that's the key to building those really thriving cities for everyone.
Maybe it is. Well, that about wraps up our deep dive into Seoul, South Korea.
It was a fascinating one.
It really was. We started with a simple question: what makes Seoul so special? And I think we found some pretty interesting answers, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we dug through official websites, historical records, even a Wikipedia entry in Arabic, remember?
I do. I never thought I'd see the day we'd be citing a Wikipedia entry in Arabic.
Me neither. But hey, it just shows how globally connected Seoul really is.
That's true. And what did we learn? Seoul is a city of contrasts, ancient and modern, tradition and innovation, but somehow it all comes together in this incredibly vibrant, dynamic place.
A global powerhouse, a tech hub, and a cultural melting pot all rolled into one.
And they're not afraid to show it off either, right? All those dazzling images, the green aurora city color for 2025.
That's Seoul. Bold, ambitious, and always looking towards the future, but never forgetting his past.
Exactly. It's a city that's constantly pushing boundaries, challenging norms, and redefining what it means to be a global city in the 21st century.
I think that's a great way to put it.
So, to our listeners out there, we hope this deep dive gave you a glimpse into the heart and soul of Seoul.
And maybe even inspired you to visit someday.
Who knows? Maybe we'll see you there.